This is Toledo Symphony Lab, a behind-the-scenes look at the world of classical music from WGTE Public Media and your Toledo Symphony. I'm Brad Cresswell. Joining me today are the Toledo Symphony's president and CEO, Zach Vassar, principal second violin, and artistic administrator, Merwin Siu. We also have the TSO's marketing director, Felicia Canny, and two special guests today. That is the newly minted music director of the Toledo Symphony, Elaine Trudell, who joins us by phone. Also special guest percussionist, Jordan Worth. Welcome to everybody, and welcome back to Season 2 of Toledo Symphony Lab.
Can't wait.
Glad to be back.
I can't believe you let us back.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Now, Elaine, where are you now calling in from?
Okay, so I'm hello everybody. I'm now in Ottawa, and we're auditioning cellists. We just finished auditioning cellists. Now we're going to audition violas, and there's a whole lot of them for two spots that we have in the Ottawa Symphony Orchestra, which is an orchestra that partners up with the university to make a big orchestra, about 100 players. We play 4 times a year, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's something different, and it's something that's very close to the school, which I like because I like to get involved, as you know, with the younger players.
Yeah, and I know that they've given you a very strict window of time, so it may be that you'll have to leave us during the course of the podcast today, but we're going to see you soon. You're going to be here on the podium at the Peristyle. So.
Oh, yes. Well, on the podium and then at the convenience store, and then back doing groceries and all around town.
Yes, right. A day in the life of Elaine Trudell.
Yeah.
Well, today we're talking about a lot of things, but since it is the first episode of our second season, we've all been away for the summer, which went by far too quickly, I should add. I just want to go around and quickly get the takeaway from each of you what you did on your summer vacation. So, Felicia, anything interesting happening with you this summer?
No, not really.
They prepared us for this question, and that's the best you could do.
Well, I spent most of my summer being pregnant, so, just
that's something.
lounging around for days.
Yeah, eating peanut butter.
Yes, eating peanut butter.
I'm glad to know that the peanut butter you ate right before we got on the air has not interfered with your ability to speak, so that's good.
Yes, I'm glad you warned me.
Okay, a check mark in your corner there. So, Merwin, what did you do this summer?
Probably the most distinctive thing was a Mendelssohn marathon. So we got a chance to play music of Felix and Fanny Mendelssohn, about 10 or 11 hours of it at the Toledo Museum of Art. That was a ton of fun.
Yeah,
really exciting.
You had a good crowd show up for that?
Yeah, absolutely. Good crowds.
Nice to hear.
Thanks for letting us promote that on the station.
Yeah. Well, Zach has been busy not getting any sleep lately. There's a reason for that.
No sleep. So Felicia spent the summer being pregnant. My wife spent the summer being pregnant, and in the middle of August, we welcomed a little baby girl.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll give you a round of applause for that. There you go.
My wife did all the work. Yeah.
Well, we also have Jordan Worth here, who is a percussionist with the symphony. And Jordan is here because he's brought in a whole, I don't know what you would call it, just a whole great big group of percussion instruments.
It's called a menagerie.
A menagerie of percussion instruments, all of them water instruments. Why, you may ask? Well, that is because Jordan is going to be performing the Water Concerto by Tan Dun, a Chinese-born composer who wrote the soundtrack to the film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, you may remember from some years ago. This is happening at the Momentum Festival. Who wants to take the lead here and tell us about Momentum Festival? Give us a background on this concert.
Well, it's a 3-day festival, 13th, 14th, and 15th of September, and it's really celebrating the revitalization of downtown Toledo. ProMedica is sponsoring it, and the Arts Commission of Greater Toledo, with a partnership with the TSO, is putting together this amazing celebration, public art, glass art, and there's a mini maker fair, and then there's 2 huge kind of headline concerts, but entertainment all throughout that weekend. The symphony is going to be performing on the Saturday, performing Tan Dun's Water Concerto and Handel's Water Music.
So what was the idea of doing water music? I mean, are you going to be near a fountain or something?
We're actually going to be...
hang on a sec. I have a little... There we go.
Perfect.
A little background noise for you.
Oh, you really worked hard on that one.
I did.
Yeah. So actually, this is kind of a brainchild of Elaine Trudell. He and Brian Kennedy from the Toledo Museum of Art and I had dinner, what would you say, Elaine, about 6 months ago?
Yeah, about 6 months ago.
And Brian was speaking about an artist who had used art to draw a lot of attention to water pollution and algal blooms in China and the effect that that had on the ecosystem there. And we talked about a way that we could use music to do the same sort of thing here in Toledo, given some of our challenges with Lake Erie. And Alain, I don't remember if it was your idea or mine. I'll give you the credit. But you started talking about the Tandun Water Concerto.
Yeah. Well, why don't you pick up the ball and run with it from there, Elaine, and tell us about the piece and about what you have to say about it.
Well, I immediately thought of the Water Concerto by Tandun when we had that discussion. While we're having the discussion, sent Brian a link to the piece. It's really interesting because it's played, as you will hear a little bit later in the demonstration. It's played on percussion, yes, but it's like the big bowl filled of water, and then we play the instruments on water. We play instruments made out of part instruments and part water to make the sound. I met Tandun the first time in a big festival in Japan, and we played together in a trio. It was for piano, a bass instrument, which was a trombone, and a narrator, which was Tandun. It was called Requiem for 19. I cannot say it on the radio. It starts with F. Okay, so and
say it in French. No, don't say it in French.
No. Well, when French is a seal, like when you go to the zoo and you say a seal. Anyway, it's the same word. But
we'll pardon your French.
It was interesting. Yeah, pardon my French. That's a new show, ladies and gentlemen. Pardon my French. Okay.
Oh, how appropriate.
Ooh, you just got Trudel.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Sad trombone is back.
Yeah.
What's really was interesting because it's quite a few years ago, and he wasn't like a mega superstar he became. And we're just hanging out and making music, and he brings this piece, and I was like, really, it came from him traveling around the world in 19 different countries where taxi drivers would insult people with this word, right? And then he was just reciting them with this beautiful atmospheric music all around him. So that was very interesting.
But just to be clear, there's not going to be any dirty words. Hello? Well, I guess that takes care of that.
Brad, if you didn't like what he was saying, you didn't have to hang up on him.
It wasn't us. I can assure you it wasn't us. Stand by. Okay. No. Whoops.
What is
One of the things I've been most looking forward to is discovering what you've added to your soundboard over the summer, Brad. Do you want to give us a preview? Or
I don't. I have a lot of stuff. I have some new a suite of game show music and effects. Oh, there he is. He's back. Okay. Domino's Pizza. Can I help you?
I'm really sorry about that. Can we just pick up where?
Yeah, we could just. We're on the air right now. We're just moving forward. The point I was going to make is that there's not going to be any like dirty French words or English words at the concert on Saturday night, right?
Absolutely not. No.
Family friendly.
No words. Absolutely. But it was very interesting because I thought this guy has really a bizarre, take on different things. And when I heard this different concerti, because there's one for paper, there's one for all, and also for the different elements. And when I heard the one for water, I said, this is amazing. It's for percussion solo, but it's visually and also when you listen to it, it's incredible. But it's not just effects. It's like real music, and it's very challenging for the orchestra. I immediately thought, well, we're next to the water. We want to bring awareness to this. And then I thought, what better match with this than the Handel water music? Because, in our concerts, I always plan to do something, really well and feel very comfortable with, and then something you discover that you really, you're asking you to have, do a little bit of a leap of faith and going and say, okay, I will try this, and believe me, this Water Concerto, nobody will be disappointed. It's a great piece.
Well, people may be intrigued by the title of a Water Concerto, percussion concerto, and Jordan here has actually brought in some of these water instruments. You mentioned a big bowl of water, Alain, and he's got that set up. with a lot of water and some little bowls inside of it floating upside down. Jordan, can you describe some of the other instruments that you brought in with you?
Because this is what my kitchen sink looks like after a dinner party, pretty much.
Yes, actually, before the instruments arrived, I did actually practice in my kitchen sink a little bit just to get a feel for it, which is funny. But
That is funny.
The instruments I have in the bowl right now are actually salad bowls, wooden salad bowls, turned upside down. They're actually some of my favorite instruments involved in this piece. They're turned upside down. They're covered in a polyurethane so the water won't damage the wood. And they sound, incredibly beautiful upside down on the water. I can give you a little demonstration.
You don't think of that, but I want you to tell us what some of the other instruments are. But also, I'm just curious, now that I've got you on the microphone, Jordan,
Yep.
You hear a lot of things about percussionists and the fact that they basically will just make music out of anything. Are you the kind of guy that just walks around always looking at something and thinking, I wonder what that sounds like if I hit it?
Yes, and usually I do end up hitting it, and my wife is not super thrilled about that.
Yeah, well, it depends on what you're hitting. I mean, maybe if you're doing the dishes and you stop and you start hitting, the plates with your spoon, thing like that, that might be kind of entertaining. I can see that happening. And
it is. And
it's endearing if you're Charlie Chaplin, but maybe in natural life it doesn't have the same application.
No, there was even an incident the other day I was kind of drumming on the steering wheel, and she...
While you were driving or while she was driving?
Oh, red light.
I was driving, but not going very fast.
Okay.
And she politely asked me, hey, can you stop? And I was like, oh, sure, yeah, no problem. 5 seconds later, drumming on the steering wheel again. I had no idea that I started up again.
Hey, the drumming is in your blood. Once you're a drummer, always a drummer.
Yeah, which kind of, learning this piece is actually a reflection of that. Just being a percussionist. Being curious about making sounds, finding new sounds. I mean, once the instruments arrived, I spent, the first couple of days just exploring what I could do with these instruments, what sounds they could make.
Yeah.
What's cool, what's not going to work,
Well, I heard you warming up with some of these instruments beforehand, and I have to say the sounds that you get, they range from really beautiful and mysterious to outright creepy. I mean, there's some scary stuff going on.
Yeah, the waterphone in particular.
Describe the waterphone for us.
It's basically a metal cylinder that has rods sticking up from the side, and you fill the bottom of it with water, and generally you bow the rods that are around the side to make the creepy sounds.
Yeah.
But in this piece, you actually do a couple of different things. You play, you can do some glissando things hitting the bottom of it. There's a lot of different sounds that Tandun has explored with that instrument that are very characteristic to this piece that I've not heard anywhere else, really.
Well, why don't you go ahead and get up and go over to some of those instruments there. We'll just kind of describe what you're doing as you get there. So you're at the waterphone now.
And I want everyone to know that he's holding up something that looks a lot like the World Series trophy. And it has a big kind of...
Either that or Bart Simpson. I mean, it has like little...
Or Bart
spiky,
Simpson's hair. That's right.
things.
It has a big... how would you describe kind of a ball that's filled with water?
Yeah, a ball filled with water, and then all these little spikes sticking up off the sides.
And it's on the spikes, Jordan, that you will run the bow. Yeah.
Is that a bass bow?
It is a bass bow. Yes.
It is a bass bow. Wow. Yeah. Felicia knows her bows.
It just looked large.
It's the baseball World Series.
Yeah. Something like that.
That is not the waterphone.
Here it is. Everybody, shh. Whoa. He's not only bowing it, but he's also like rotating it and moving it around in the air, and
which gives it its own sense of resonance. So we're in a very dry room right now by intention,
right?
But that has almost its own echo chamber built into it.
Yeah, and you have a mallet to play with it too, right? Yes. No, okay. So he's gonna strike it on the bottom. Yeah. That has a typical more of a Chinese sound to it, what you hear in Chinese music.
That's amazing that it's all coming from the same instrument. All of these sounds that you've heard of are all coming from the same instrument.
I feel like I know the one instrument that is used on every horror film soundtrack now, right?
That and the theremin. There should be a duet for those two instruments. That would be fantastic. And trombone. Make it a trio.
Yeah, again.
Yeah. So maybe, Elaine, you can talk about this a little bit, too. How does Tandun integrate these percussion instruments into use with the Western orchestra? I mean, does this music sound inherently Chinese, or does it have Western elements to it?
What's interesting in Tandun's music is that he builds an entirely different sonorous world, a sonic world, something completely different that you haven't heard yet. And he uses the same instruments.
Yeah.
When you come in contact with a genius of that level, it's like, for example, if you think of Mozart, and you say, well, he had the same notes as everybody, right? He had the 7 or 12 notes as everybody, but something else happened when he was writing them. When in Tandun, in our time, when he uses the same instrument, same orchestra, he has some ideas. For example, he's going to use the string instrument, but only all playing in harmonics. So kind of not playing directly the sound from the strings, but the sound that's a resultant from putting another finger and then pressing one very much and one not so much, the artificial harmonics. In the brass, what he does in this piece to imitate like the little water going click, 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 you turn your mouthpiece around, you put in an instrument, you tap with your hand, and then all of a sudden the orchestra plays for real, and it emanates from this sound that grows and grows, and then you can have the full orchestra sound, but he brought it in such a way that it still sounds like it's something new, but we're just playing normally. So it's very interesting, and it's in 3 movements. And there's part of the second and the last movement are like dances, and they're really. When I first looked at the score, I said, "Wow, you can't play this, percussion with the water and all that stuff like really fast like that, and do all the rhythms." And there's a lot of question answer with the orchestra, or a bit of a not fighting with your orchestra, but a little bit of a, we do something, they do something, we do a little bit more, then the soloist has to do a little bit more. And there's a lot of competition like that. It's really, really well done. And for me, his music is fantastic. I'm very impressed by it. And as I like to have new music in, almost all the concerts, it's very refreshing. And again, I think it's the complement of this and Handel's Water music. And we play it in a way that's very, informed historically. It makes it as exciting. Handel, you will hear it, won't sound like it's old music. It will sound very, very fresh also.
Oh, really? Well, do tell. I'm curious how you're freshening that up. I mean, are you all going to go out on little boats on the lake or what?
I'd love to and play like, I'd love to come and play with like 30 oboes and 20 bassoons, but no, we're not going to do that.
No trombones, though.
And no trombones on top of it. There's trombones in the Water Concerto, but no, not in Handel we're playing. It's like, no, it's just, this music can be heavy and heavier as it goes along. And if you treat it in a way that is very, how could I say, very, not light, but almost flamboyant, it brings out the inner parts of the music, like the parts, like the second and third part of the music, even more, and that's really interesting. And also the combination. There's more liberty than people think in the Handel Water music and Royal Fireworks. You can actually reorchestrate it a little bit as you wish in it, because very often you have, for example, when there's a section that's repeated again, then you have a choice. You could use the woodwinds, or you could use the strings. And for them, I mean, it was important because you go on the boat and maybe the coordination didn't work out as much. Actually, speaking of coordination and being next to the water, I have to say, I know it's off subject, but it was the best experience ever to play that 4th of July concert.
Oh, yeah.
It was amazing. And the coordination with the fireworks when we played Fanfare for the Common Man, I couldn't believe it. It was so musical. Anyway.
But no fireworks this time. Just a lot of splashing. We could have a water fight.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan is going to have a big bowl of water. And maybe at the end we could do, Gatorade and dump it on your head. What do you think of that?
Depending on how hot it is, you might welcome that, Alain.
Elaine, you only...
As long as we make the playoffs, we're okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Elaine, I know you've only got a few minutes left, but I want to get into our quiz for the day, and maybe you can join us for a couple of questions. First of all, speaking of my soundboard, we do have a little new quiz music.
That doesn't sound like quiz music. That sounds like Magnum PI.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You're getting off on a bad start with the Quizmaster.
No, this is that's like my Jeopardy knockoff music.
Now,
right there.
as the melody comes in, yes.
Yeah. So the category.
I'll take music for 200.
You have to answer in the form of a question.
You've got the right category. The category is water music. And how this works is we're doing a hyper-vocabularized edition of this. So I'm taking some well-known song lyrics, pop song lyrics, that involve water of some shape or form, but they've been translated into techno-babble, and you have to untranslate them to their original version. So here's an example. If I say, it is precipitating Homo sapiens, you say...
It's raining men.
It's raining men. Hallelujah.
I was very excited about that. Hallelujah.
Okay, so you got it. Now, I've got 10 of these. We'll see how far we can get, all right? Here's the first one. Particles of liquid hydrogen mixed with oxygen persistently descend on my cranium.
Snowflakes are falling.
Raindrops keep falling on
my.
Oh,
Wait,
it's
is that how it
Canadian.
goes?
Canadian.
That's the
Yeah.
Canadian version.
No, are
Yeah.
you really?
See how easy it
Yeah,
is?
right.
I almost convinced her, everybody.
These will get progressively harder as we go along. Here's the next one. Earth's satellite channel. Earth's satellite channel.
Moon River?
That's right, Moon River. Okay.
Oh, wow.
We all inhabit a xanthus submersible.
We all live in a yellow submarine.
That's right. See, these are easy. Maybe too easy. Melodically phonating in the showery precipitation.
Singing in the
Singing in
rain.
the rain.
Yeah, extra credit if you can actually sing the melody for us. Now, here's one. I'm not sure if you'll all get this one. Baked confection juxtaposed with brine.
Sounds like a lightning round.
Yeah. This is the moment in...
A
Baked?
baked confection juxtaposed with brine. This was a song from DNCE, if you know them. DNCE.
What decade are we in?
10 seconds. Jordan, you don't know this one?
No.
Cake by the water.
Oh,
By the ocean. Cake by the ocean.
by the wall.
That's on my work.
Yeah,
Cake
that's
by
a
the
good
ocean.
one.
Yeah, I obviously don't know it at all. All right, here's the next one.
Cake by the water.
Lacrimate for me, a fast-flowing stretch of water.
That sounds bad.
Crimea River.
Cry me a river.
Cry me
Very
a
good.
river, yeah.
Okay.
Or a peninsula. And
See if you got this. If you can get this one. Crimea Peninsula.
Crimean Peninsula.
Crimea, yeah.
Oh, I get it. Took a while to penetrate. All right. Comparable to a structure that traverses discombobulated compound molecules of hydrogen and oxygen.
Like a bridge over troubled waters.
You got it. Wow.
Wow.
A collection of airborne solid and liquid particulates and gases over dihydrogen oxide.
Wait, say that again?
Okay. A collection of airborne solid and liquid particles and gases over dihydrogen oxide.
Isn't this what the star interpreter told you should talk to a doctor about?
Maybe. It has a disclaimer at the end. I need to say it really fast. A lot of different words. A collection of airborne solid and liquid particles and gases over dihydrogen oxide. Dihydrogen oxide is
Clouds over.
is water.
Clouds over.
Well, not necessarily clouds. Smoke.
Oh,
Smoke on the water.
Smoke on the water.
Okay. Only two more. A copious liquid flow of a succession of images which pass through the mind in the middle of the night. That should be a clue right there. If you know your Billy Joel.
River of Dreams.
River of Dreams. Now, the last one, this one is a little more difficult. It's one word, simply subaqueous.
Aquarius.
underwater.
Well, underwater, that's close.
Oh.
It's a three-word title. Think Walt Disney.
Under the sea.
Under the Sea.
Under the sea.
Under the Sea does not go with this music at all.
That is
It's
the
much
most strange
spookier.
quiz I've ever taken.
Okay.
Now I know how.
Sebastian the Crab was really spooked out right there.
He scurried
That
into
was
his
that
little
was
shell.
evidently that was a simple quiz. I'm going to have to make them harder. We
Yes.
didn't hear from the water bowls that you have over there. Maybe you want to go play a little for us.
Sure.
And you know what?
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to leave you. It was a pleasure. I'll see you at the concert.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Bye.
Okay.
Good luck
Bye-bye.
auditioning.
Bye.
Say hi to the violas.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
You bet.
Okay, now that he's gone, anything you all want to say about take issue with?
I'll fill some time here as Jordan's moving toward the bowls. I saw a performance of the Tandun Concerto several years ago at this point, but what I loved about it is that it was so creative, not only the instrumentation that was used, but how the water was manipulated. So there are points in the concerto where people are kind of splashing against the water, smacking the water surface in a percussive way, or there's a lot of pouring of water in. You can demonstrate now, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, so the piece specifically calls for a few different techniques on the water. The most simple is just, playing on top of the water with your fingertips to kind of like...
I can see how that would really annoy your wife.
Yes. And then another one is actually getting more of like a bass sound by flicking into the water. So...
Oh. We've got just about a minute left, but we'll go ahead and let you take it away. You can take it away for the rest of our podcast. Jordan Worth. He's going to be playing that Water Concerto of Tandun. That's happening this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. It's during the Momentum Festival, the 3-day festival of music and art in downtown Toledo along the waterfront, along the Maumee River. TSO will be on stage at Promenade Park, performing that music by Tandun, as well as George Frederick Handel's water music. It's a great concert, and we hope that you'll be there for that. I want to thank everybody for joining us today for Toledo Symphony Lab. Zach Vassar, Merwin Sue, Felicia Canny, and Jordan Worth, and also Elaine Trudell, who was with us for a little bit today. He managed to stay with us for most of the podcast, so it was nice to hear from Elaine. And we'll hear more from Elaine in our next episode, talking about his debut here in Toledo. So a lot of great stuff to talk about. Remember, you can also check out all the upcoming events at the Symphony this season. Their website is ToledoSymphony.com. This program is a production of WGTE Public Media in collaboration with our sponsor, the Toledo Symphony. You can download episodes of this program as a podcast by going to our website. That's at wgte.org/lab. You can also subscribe to us through your podcast app of choice, including Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts. I'm Brad Cresswell. You've been listening to Toledo Symphony Lab here on your public radio station, FM 91.